All right. And spoiler time, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You ready?
And Susu Studio. All right. And we're back. It's spoiler time. Okay. It's been a couple of days. Kong is out. You've seen it. I've seen it. If you haven't seen it by now, this is the spoiler review. Don't bitch when you've been warned.
You hear spoilers.
You hear spoilers. It's Samuel L. Jackson was a badass, and he gets what's coming to him. All right, so
he kind of becomes a villain.
I feel. Oh yeah. Okay. Let me start with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't see him as a villain. I see him as the antagonist, but not necessarily a villain.
He believes what he's doing is right. He's not a corrupted villain,
which makes him a more dangerous villain. Yeah, because he feels like what he's doing is
he thinks is right.
Yeah,
but his actions are going to cause, and we'll tell you in a minute what happened.
I mean, well, you go to the island, you start dropping bombs on this thing, and then all of a sudden Kong comes out and starts killing everybody, right? Because you just disturbed his whole home.
Tell him how it starts.
So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yeah. Then there was Bill and Ted. No, it starts off during World War II, and these two airplanes, I guess, shoot each other down, and they land on this remote Pacific island.
Yeah. They parachute down. First, you're seeing just the guy falling out of it. What the hell that was? That kind of jarred me off out a little bit.
Looked like he was falling without a chute.
Exactly. It looked like somebody was about to fall to their death. Maybe he was going to get caught by Kong. But no, it was World War II. Like you said, they landed in the island.
American P-51 against a Zero, and they shoot each other down. And they land right next to each other.
And they're like, holy shit.
And they start to try to kill each other. The guy empties his pistol, the Japanese guy, and then he's like, oh shit, because the Japanese guy's got a katana blade, so he starts chasing.
He has a gun and a katana.
So he starts
both
chasing
these guys can't shoot for shit.
Yeah.
But one has a sword, so you better run. And you know that's
Charles Riley's character.
Yeah, Charles Riley's character.
Young character.
You don't find that out until later on. But when you saw that their fight led to Kong, that instantly could have been the end of it with those two guys. I mean, Kong saw these dudes crash on their island. So it's just, I guess in that situation, Kong was like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, they landed in the desert area, and then they chase each other to the jungle. They end up like fighting mano a mano, like fighting swords on the edge of a cliff. And then all of a sudden you hear this snorting sound, and they're like holding the sword. They look over,
these hands come up,
huge head and hands, and they're like,
Kong is right. They do not shy away from Kong from the very beginning.
You get Kong right away.
Kong is instantly in your face, and that set the whole fight like world peace, between if those two guys was the symbol of the war, that's when the war.
They're like, ended. All right, peace, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a bigger enemy to fight.
And you find out later what happens to them as time goes by, but it all makes sense because, I mean, with these two guys fighting each other, and then you see something like that, if Kong didn't instantly kill him, you knew that these guys were going to have to...
I think Kong heard the fighting and was like, what's going on?
Like, what's going on, dude? I mean, okay, so you crashed on my... I mean, I'm sure Kong, investigated.
So they went down in 44. The movie then does the intro credits right as you see Kong's face, and it jumps to 1973, right at the end of the Vietnam War, and America's pulling out of Vietnam. And John Goodman's character
is trying to get a senator to approve. He's been trying for recon. He works in trying to prove that monsters exist.
I think they're the Monarch company or whatever. They're looking for monsters.
So this senator is tired of him. He's been ignoring him. Finally gives him what he wants because
by telling him they don't want the Russians to find it.
I'm sure that was the second he said it, I said, watch. That's the most brilliant thing.
Because he's like, I'm not hearing it. This is dumb. This is stupid.
You're still chasing monsters, dude.
The Russians can find it first. You don't want them finding it first.
Exactly. Right? He's like, you know what? We don't know what's on the island. We don't know if there's monsters. Maybe we're all bullshit. But we don't know what's on the island. But we want to find out before the Russians do. We want to be first. If there is something, he said it right. It could be fuel. It could be a cure for cancer. It could be anything. You want the Russians to find it first?
That's all he needed to say. He's like, you know what? That kind of makes sense.
It does. It's the only thing that makes sense. Because go back to the president and tell him that you had a chance to get it first, and then you let the Russians get it first. That would have been back then during the Cold War. That was I think that was the easiest way to get anything you wanted back then.
Well, they get the team, and it shows like a collage of them rounding up members of this team, so to speak. Samuel
and then you
Jackson.
go to Samuel L. Jackson next.
Yeah.
And instantly you kind of already know what Samuel L. Jackson's character is
it's
about.
like he's
sitting there like,
it's at the end of his war.
We just lost this war.
What am I going to do with my life now? They're sending me home.
Yeah, didn't he mutter that to himself? Like,
Yeah,
what the
he's like,
hell
well,
was
what
all
the hell
this
am I
for?
going to do now?
Got all these damn
medals and
and
they're
we're
sending him
pulling out.
home.
What the hell was this all for?
So he gets one last mission.
He was happy for it.
Yeah, he's like, thank you, sir.
It could have been a 3-day nothing, but he was just happy to be doing something.
didn't want to go home.
That just made me think, like, dude, like, what is up with Samuel?
He was
character?
brainwashed.
He was institutionalized for that war.
For the
He wanted
wartime.
it could have been an easy little let's pick a flower and leave kind of mission, and he would have been happy with that. Like, yes, accomplished. But
And the ironic thing is, part of the team is a woman photographer who, in the movie, is a famous anti-war photographer who apparently,
looks at it as an enemy.
he looks at her as an enemy because she's making his
Brie
team look
Larson.
bad.
I'm sorry, Brie Larson's
yeah,
her name.
making him look bad, and they have a little
Yeah.
confrontation.
I loved her answer about that. And if you like, remember, spoilers, guys, if you saw the movie, but the way the way Samuel L. Jackson looked at it was like, you know, it's you guys with the photography stuff that's
Yeah, they're
always
more
going out
dangerous
there.
than guns.
You're more dangerous than guns. You're the ones out there telling everybody we're doing this bad or we're doing that bad, and we're trying to fight, you know, for the country. And her response to me made a lot. It was a very liberal response, though. It was, you know, how are you going to blame the people without the guns
That we lost the war.
For that we lost the war. I mean,
We didn't lose the war.
so.
We pulled out.
So in my brain, it was like, so what do you want? If the exact same stuff happened and there were no reporters, what would you have done? Would you have come home lying to us and say we won, just to make us all feel good? I guess that's a good strategy. Makes everybody feel good, right?
So Samuel was, he was very bitter and depressed, and so the
word got out that we lost the war.
Man,
right?
so they give him this mission, and of course he jumps on it, and so we
and when
get
the shit hits the fan, he's like, I'm gonna win this shit.
Yeah. So they get to the island, and immediately we find that they start dropping these seismic bombs, which
To
They
map
say
the island,
to map the ground.
No, they want to find out if it's hollow to prove their little monster theory that they're not telling the military about.
they're trying
or the
to
scientists.
Yeah,
They didn't tell anybody.
Nobody tells anybody in this movie what's really going on.
You know, what's really happening. And when you see it, and you saw it already, right?
The soundtrack in this movie was great too.
The music was
if you like
Born on a Bayou.
Yeah, all
stuff.
all that Vietnam era rock music, Southern rock music. You're gonna hear that in this.
I like the fact that they kept showing the record player every now and then.
Yeah, the
Every
battery
now and then.
powered
Yeah.
the little battery powered record
Every
player.
now and then they just it didn't just have the music playing as background music. It showed you why the music was playing, because it was like, hey, you know what? We got some time. Play some music, and then that song would just carry. It fit a little bit.
It did. It was good, but Kong is introduced very quickly again as they're dropping these bombs, and all of a sudden you look forward from the pilot's point of view, and this tree just comes out of nowhere.
You know, that trailer was misleading with that whole, is that a monkey? And then the tree hits things. No, that's not how it happened.
Tree first.
That's, like 2 trees pretty much. I mean, he wrecks a lot of shop.
I thought he killed everybody. It looked like he killed everybody right away. Just smash,
You'd be
smash.
surprised how many people will survive a helicopter crash when you're the star of the movie.
Man, he was fucking those planes
everybody up. And then when that was settled, the look on Samuel L. Jackson's face, that was a million.
He gave him the stank eye.
Oh yeah, exactly. He was like, yeah, this is my war. Everything I feel bitter about, I'm taking it out on.
They're all telling him to pull out, and then I love that iconic shot where it shows like him in the foreground, or right up there, and then Kong in the background. And he's just like,
I'm taking
motherfucker.
I'm taking all my failure and frustration and cocoa butter out on you.
Yeah, I know that smell anywhere.
I smell that smell anywhere, Kong. But it was an iconic moment, man, and it was. Just
they meet eyes.
It was like that just by his look. That was I have had it with this
motherfucking monkey.
It was all in the eye, man. He doesn't even have to say it anymore. He doesn't have to scream anymore. And that's that much screaming.
He was actually kind of quiet.
He was actually quiet.
And as the movie progresses, you start to feel like his character is losing sanity a little bit because
his grip.
Yeah, his grip on reality and reasoning. All he is focused on is killing Kong.
Is winning the war.
Winning the war.
Kong. Man versus beast. He wanted to prove that they were going to come in and take. You could barely handle Kong, and they're telling you that Kong is the thing that's keeping all this other shit at bay. Then we'll come back and kill them too. Like, you didn't handle Kong.
No, he got there.
And now we're telling you that something might be worse than that, and it's just that ego gets in the way.
He was bittered.
But one by one, when the soldiers started to go down, that was those kills, man.
I think it was PG-13 too. If I'm not mistaken, it's kind of graphic.
Yeah, it's PG-13, but
a lot of smashing and chomping and ripping apart.
I would have called this PG-16, man. That pushed the envelope for a PG-13 movie. Those kills, the spider.
Samuel Jackson's death was great in this.
It made sense. It reminded me of. Dude, you already know what I'm gonna say. What movie did that remind you of? That instant death.
Which one?
Shark.
Oh yeah. When he's like, "We're gonna get together and get it," and wham,
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah,
done.
So guys, if you don't want to hear what happens at the end, turn off right now. I know you're into spoilers, but so at the end, towards the very end of the movie. They have a confrontation with Kong and what's left of the soldiers, and they set up a napalm trap, and it really does look like they fucked him up, and he ends up crashing back down, and they set all these demolition charges around him, and then Charles Riley's character, Tom Middleton's character, and the photographer, they understand that
Brie Larson's character,
that he should not kill Kong, because like he says, Kong is keeping everything else at bay, and if he's the only natural predator of these things, if they kill him, those things are going to run loose everywhere.
Yeah, it does one of those cliche things where since we have a large group, obviously one group they get split up. One group goes
Divided.
to learn the good story. The other group goes through shit and hell, and they're giant spiders and all kinds of bullshit. And then by the time they get together, they're bumping heads and whatnot. So we're all on the side of the good group. But at the same time, you can't understand why the bad group wants.
They have a Mexican standoff at the end where they're all pointing guns at each other.
Exactly.
You know, like drop. He's got the little demolition controller thing.
Yeah, and it's funny how the one soldier that did get with the enlightened group, how he had to, you have to protect your commanding officer.
Right.
Of course, that's instinct. But then when you looked at when he knew the whole picture, it made sense that he would turn on him. But I expected when he turned on Samuel L. Jackson, I expected one of those other soldiers to shoot. I thought that was going to happen. I thought that dude was going down, and that was going to calm everybody down or something like that. But the other soldiers they didn't want to follow Samuel after a while. Man. He was leading them to fucking ruin.
So we get Samuel Jackson to put the detonator down, not on the ground, and then all of a sudden we see the big bad guy pop out now that Kong is down, and everybody but Sam runs away. And there was I honestly didn't know what was going to happen because the Chargers are still next to Kong.
I'm thinking that Sam was going to be like wait, were the Chargers next to Kong or
they're right next to his head?
Or?
Yeah, right next to his head. And he was standing there. I thought he was going to try to just take him out and blow. But then he ends up, it was like, I'm going to kill you, you motherfucker. And then wham!
Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea.
The Deep Blue Sea effect.
The Deep Blue Sea moment happened. But I feel like it was... I didn't know. I felt like at any moment maybe he was gonna like help Godzilla.
Tell him
I
to
feel
go.
like anything could have happened. I feel like I thought that was gonna go off, but it wouldn't have made sense. I mean, he was convicted.
He
wanted revenge.
Yeah, he was gone. He was lost.
He probably wanted a soldier's death. You know, that's probably what he was really after.
He was probably gonna blow himself up too.
Who knows? Yeah,
but he got smushed like a fucking bomb.
He wanted to go out like a man, and that's exactly. Hey, Kong gave him what he wanted. You might not get what you want, but Kong gave you what you need. And it was done. But so he had a good death. It was just funny how it reminded me of Deep Blue Sea. But overall, when you learn what's really going on, the fact that Kong is keeping these things at bay, just like Godzilla keeping these things at bay.
He's the police on the island, basically.
He's the one keeping these things at check. And it made sense how, like, you take away ecosystems, natural predator, then all of a sudden, the prey, they start, going crazy. Like, if all the birds, were to disappear, the first thing you would notice was the fact that there'd be too many mice and rats all over the place.
Insects and bugs.
Yeah, all over the place, because I mean, if all the birds that eat all of these rodents and stuff just start disappearing, then these rodents would go all over the place. But who knows what would have happened if Kong disappeared? That's what they were afraid of. Like, dude, you just don't know. These things get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I was thinking about when they said that, I was thinking, is Godzilla also? Is Godzilla? I didn't think that they were going to do the Godzilla thing, but I was thinking, when Kong sees Godzilla, is he going to think? Because those look like reptiles. Is he gonna think that Godzilla is a bigger version?
I think those things are Godzilla's going to be way bigger.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
could, in Kong's mind, could those things get as big as Godzilla? Because that thing was almost the size of Kong. And so when he sees Godzilla for the first time, you think Kong's gonna think it's related?
I think that boy's going to be beating on his chest trying to show he's alpha male.
That's probably what it's gonna be more about. Like, how is this motherfucker bigger than me? You're like, I can't have that, and not on my watch, not on my. Where do you think the fight's gonna happen?
Where?
Where do you think it's gonna happen on that island? You think it's gonna happen in America?
Around, it's going to happen somewhere in Asia, I think. It's maybe even on the mainland. Maybe, oh God, please let it be in a big city where they're throwing each other through buildings and epic shit like in the old Godzilla.
Like it happened between Japan and San Francisco, right? On Godzilla. Like, you think it's gonna? They can't go back to the same. But they go back to San Francisco. That's gonna suck.
Put it in Tokyo or in Okinawa or somewhere like
somewhere
that.
else, or who knows? I don't know. We already had an island. We've already had Japan. We've already had the country.
Shit, the only place they really go is like on Okinawa or like Iwo Jima, where it's just like Mount Suribachi and a big open terrain. It's like a ring.
Or maybe New York. Okay, everything always goes.
Well, it would be more exciting to have in New York to run
Yeah.
through buildings and stuff.
To give it scale. You're gonna see. That's what the poster's gonna be. It's gonna be Godzilla and King Kong like in a fight stance, and then the Statue of Liberty is like, oh shit,
Kongzilla.
Kongzilla. That's gonna be good, man. But all right, so everybody did a great job. I mean, the animation of the fights, the action, all that. All right, you've seen the movie. You know we love this movie because you saw our non-spoilers review. So let's just get right down to the nitty-gritty. I'm thinking that Bryan Cranston's character is the son. Now I gotta go back.
The reference.
Like by the time you've seen this video, I've probably already learned because this is the advanced screening and was March. It's the 1st of March right now. So that, but without knowing, did that kid look like the son of what's his name? The funny guy.
Riley. Yeah,
Riley.
So the guy who you're introduced to at the beginning of the movie makes it through to the end, and he gets to go home for the first time since World War II, and you don't get to hear any of the audio, unfortunately. It's more like a credits collage kind of thing, but
Right.
we see that his wife is still alive, they cry, blah, blah, blah.
There was no other man in the house,
Right,
so she
except for
stayed.
the son. The son is alive, and they handshake, and our theory goes that the son is actually Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston's character.
Yeah.
Because when I mentioned that, you said it kind of looked like Bryan Cranston.
It does in the time line up.
It fits
Yeah.
perfectly. And now, then that whole thing is making me try to remember. And that's why I got to go back to watch Godzilla. What was the stuff that he was saying? And the stuff that he was studying for long, because he was married. He had a son who was in the military and all that stuff.
I think it's right. I think
when they were talking about like all the charges and like he studied these things, so it had to fit with what his crazy old man would tell him.
I think
He was going through on that island.
So we speculate that Charles Riley, the survivor's son, who, because this
He was
movie
grown,
takes place
yeah.
in '73, so we bump forward more towards Godzilla modern times. That son has now grown up to be Bryan Cranston's character.
Now maybe he doesn't believe everything that his dad tells him because his dad has to keep it on the down low as much as he can because you don't want the
He
government
didn't
to-
reveal maybe too much.
Yeah, he probably told him enough to maybe to scare him or to give him some inkling of a cool story that maybe he knew that nobody would believe. But maybe that's the reason why Bryan Cranston's character was so driven into to believe, to know, kind of in the back of his mind, knowing that what Japan was doing with those tests and those.
Yeah, that epic speech.
Yeah, and then giving that epic speech, maybe that was what drove him to instantly believe that there was something down there or something like that. I keep thinking in my head, like, my crazy old man, I didn't believe him.
He seen it coming.
He said that he had some big apes and some big lizards and some stupid shit, and now I'm thinking that maybe the old man wasn't off his rocker. Or did they mention Grandpa in the Godzilla or anything like that?
I'd have to go back and rewatch it.
So now I'm going to go back, got to rewatch Godzilla, and I'm trying to remember a conversation between Bryan Cranston and his son, Kick-Ass.
Oh yeah.
And see if there was any kind of conversation. So now we know that in Godzilla 2, do you think, so here's the thing. Do you think Grandpa now, crazy old Grandpa from Kong, you think he's still alive?
I think his character would be so old that he would be like combat ineffective, so to speak. We may see like a cameo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure.
No, actually, I think his father's dead in Godzilla.
Bryan Cranston is dead, but
No, I think his father is dead.
did you mention? Yeah, that's I got to go back and
Yeah, we'll have to check. But we think his father's already dead.
But I think that was Bryan Cranston. I
Yeah.
think that's the connection. It makes sense on why he instantly like knew something was wrong with the way with the shit was starting in Godzilla, and
Right.
that was a subtle way of connecting it. And I kind of liked it. I think that
They could have just left that scene out entirely, but I'm glad that they put it in.
it's
There's
gonna
that
make
cohesive.
it was a bridge that it really didn't bridge the two things together.
And
but
you
at
might
the
not
same
you might
time-
not even see unless you know what to look for, because I didn't pick up on it until Chris mentioned it. Then I was like, I'll be damned.
I
That's
didn't
a good
pick
theory.
up on the name or really maybe it's in the name. Like I said, we're gonna check after this. But even if the names were totally different or whatnot, it just like in a storytelling way,
technically he was dead.
it just feels like that would make sense. Like if I
Right.
was writing the story, that would be Bryan
That'd
Cranston.
be a way to connect it.
That would be a perfect way to connect it without even saying it out loud. Without even going, and then 30 years later, he fucking woke up Godzilla and then died too soon. But no, it didn't have to. But I don't know. Maybe that was a way of apologizing for killing off Bryan Cranston's character too damn soon. Like, let's kind of bring him back. Who knows? But if Grandpa is still alive, he's old and he's probably, maybe the son will go back and to get some wisdom. And that's maybe how he's going to tell him, hey, if you need to save Godzilla, if Godzilla needs some backup, I know a guy.
I know
a guy. Like, Grandpa, don't go get started with this whole Kong bullshit. You go to that island, boy, and you get Kong. I feel like that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a crazy old man. He's going to put him in all kinds of makeup, and he's going to say, get to that island and get Kong. You know, so who knows? I think that's what's going to happen, man. I feel like an old man is gonna whisper in his grandson's ear and
Let
say,
them fight.
and go to the island, get Godzilla some backup or whatever. I think that's probably how it might. Maybe that's gonna be would be what happened. Who knows? Or maybe he'll read a diary or something like that and read his grandfather's old crazy stuff that happened on that island, and he goes, "Hey, my grandfather said that there's a big ass monkey out there." Who knows? I don't know. I guess this is the time to place your bets. You know what? We're getting into that moment where the rumors and speculations are starting to take over. All right, that's where we're gonna end it off on this. Let's you guys write it in the comments if you want to talk about this. What do you predict will be the thing that launches us off to Godzilla 2 and that leads us into King Kong versus Godzilla? So I'm thinking it's gonna be Crazy Grandpa. That's what's gonna really bridge it.
And real quick, guys, I think that they need to skip the Godzilla sequel and just go ahead
straight. I
and
feel
go
like we
straight
should-
into.
I feel like we should go
connecting
straight
these.
to go. Yeah, I feel like we had a Godzilla
because that's
movie.
what we want to see.
Yeah, I don't, unless Godzilla 2 introduces a big bad, unless Godzilla loses in Godzilla 2, and that's what has to lead us.
Like
in-
Rocky 3.
Yeah, like he goes down, and that's why Kong has to come back.
Give him the eye of the tiger.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's my damn theory. Okay, like all right. So what do you guys think? So I agree with Sean though. I think that it should go straight to Godzilla versus King Kong. I don't think we need a Godzilla 2.
No, it's a waste because we all just want to see them fight.
Because then they're going to be like, well, Kong's not getting enough time. We have to have a Kong 2 now.
Make it equal.
After they fight together. And then what, Kong 2 would end the whole thing?
We'll see.
Because what would be the point? I mean, the world would have to have been destroyed by now. What are we going to do? I'm like, by Kong 2, half of the people on the planet would be worshiping these two things by then. You know, all this stuff was just going to be too, it's too epic. Hey, look, you already like, subscribe, go to the blog, wherever you want to talk about this stuff. Give it your own rating. You already know. I gave it. I'm still set. It's at a 4. You said 4. It's a blockbuster. Kong 2. I don't know where they're gonna go with that. Godzilla 2. Hope they do a better job. But we already know that when they meet, it's go. All right. Do we see Kong at all in Godzilla 2? They might, even if they don't fight or see each other.
yeah. They have to have a solid connection if we don't already just go for it.
I'm wondering if that's going to happen. At the end of Godzilla 2, do they look at each other eye to eye, and that leads to
Dragon Ball Z.
Like they're like,
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be epic if the beginning of Godzilla versus King Kong they're already fighting?
We'll see.
That's-
We'll see, guys.
hey,
Let us know what your theories are. Put it in the box.
Yeah. We're not gonna do your work for you, Hollywood. Make the damn movie. All right. That's all I gotta say about that. Till next time, guys. Like I said, hit the like, subscribe button. Let us know what you think. What's the next advanced screening? We don't know yet. Next movie we're gonna check out Logan. Let's
Logan.
Let's go to Logan.
Keep your eye out for the Logan review.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, I know we probably have already have seen Logan. So yeah, go check the YouTube channel, check out our Logan review, check out all our reviews. Let us know what you guys think, and then till next time.